Thank you, Deb. Welcome to Northbrae Community Church. Whoever you are, wherever you are welcome here. We have a lot of marvelous announcements today. At long last, we are planning on reopening in-person services in the chapel. Now, Sunday, June 20th and June 27th, we plan on having the minister, musicians, worship leaders, Zoom crew in the chapel, but no audience yet. But mark your calendars, July 4th, we plan on beginning letting the congregation back in the chapel and continuing on Zoom. We hope that by July 18th, when Reverend Christy Ramage is here for her first service, we will all feel comfortable being back. We've written up a set of rules and we'll send those to you, but expect these rules to change as the City of Berkeley revises their rules. So look forward to information coming out via email. We welcome your comments, and it will be absolutely wonderful to see everyone again. The civics group meets tonight at 7 o'clock. The group will discuss recall efforts on the Governor of California. Please contact Diane McNinney for a Zoom link. The Sunday night book group will discuss The Night Watchman by Louise Erdrich. The discussion is scheduled for August 8th at 7 p.m. The movie for the June 16th movie discussion group is Schindler's List. Please watch the movie on your own, then join us on Zoom to discuss at 6:30. Details and possible discussion topics are on our website. The Tuesday group will meet this week at 10 o'clock on Zoom. We are reading Leaving Church by Barbara Brown Taylor. Please contact Kathy Oldham for a Zoom link. The meditation group meets live on Mondays, 5 o'clock in the Sacred Hoop Garden. Please look at and subscribe to our YouTube channel. There is a link at the bottom of the bulletin that will take you directly to our channel. The Social Media Committee welcomes your support. There are several jobs that are fairly simple and don't require much skill in case you thought you may not be qualified. We accept everyone. Please contact John or Suzanne. Next week, the guest preacher will be Scott Quinn. The service will be led by Karen Queen and Barbara Foster. There will be a brief communion service immediately following this service. If you would like to attend communion, please stay around. Kathy Oldham will lead this. And we can't forget it is June. So happy Lesbian, Gay, Bisexual, and Transgender Pride Month. Our guest today is Holly Near, who has been singing for a more equitable world for well over 50 years. She is an insightful storyteller through her music, committed to keeping her work rooted in contemporary activism. Her joy and passion continue to inspire people to join in her celebration of the human spirit. Equally compelling at her shows and through recordings, Holly's music fully engages listeners in the world around them, speaking to anyone who believes in peace, justice, and feminism, a wonderful spectrum of humanity. In case you missed Friday's PBS American Masters show about her, titled Singing for Our Lives, it is still available to watch. Now, let us join together and sing hymn 170 in your silver hymnal, or the words are in the bulletin, We Are a Gentle, Angry People.
And this is a song by Holly Near. You will sing each line 2 times. So we are a gentle, angry people singing for our lives, and then go back and sing again. We are a gentle, angry people, and we are singing for our lives. So each verse twice. We are a gentle, angry people, and we are singing for our lives. We are a gentle, angry people, and we are singing for our lives. We are a justice-seeking people, and we are singing for our lives. We are a justice-seeking people, and we are singing for our lives. We are young and old together, and we are singing for our lives. We are young and old together, and we are singing for our lives. We are a land of many colors, and we are singing for our lives. We are a land of many colors, and we are singing for our lives. We are gay and straight together, and we are singing for our lives. We are gay and straight together, and we are singing for our lives. We are a gentle, loving people, and we are singing for our lives. We are a gentle, loving people, and we are singing for our lives. And we are singing for our lives. And we are singing for our lives.
Please join me reading along with the Lord's Prayer from the New Zealand Prayer Book. Eternal Spirit, Earth Maker, Pain Bearer, Life Giver, Source of all that is and that shall be, Father and Mother of us all. Loving God, in whom is in heaven, the hallowing of your name echoes through the universe. The way of your justice be followed by the peoples of the earth. Your heavenly will be done by all created beings. Your commonwealth of peace and freedom sustain our hope and come on earth. With the bread we need for today, feed us. And the hurts we absorb from one another, forgive us. In times of temptation and test, spare us. From the grip of all that is evil, free us. For you reign in the glory of the power that is love, now and forever. Amen.
Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea. Move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
So let me set the scene. I don't know, the note from Suzanne read to this effect: I don't know you well, even though I bet you have had years of beautiful activism. I was hoping you could speak to why you carried on working on the causes you did, and am hoping you can share what motivates you. Yes, I have had years of beautiful activism and feel these efforts have made a difference in many lives, especially mine. Ta-da! Small and large organized events, as well as personal efforts to advance civil rights and to make our Constitution a living one. Let me begin with my early childhood. You can determine how it influenced my beliefs and behaviors. Beliefs. What do you believe? I do believe there is a right and a wrong, good and bad, and my strong beliefs have definitely moved me to action. My grown-up beliefs about people in the world began when I was 9, as I began learning about church when 2 of my brothers and I moved to live with the Jewans, country folks who wouldn't agree to let us live with them unless my father agreed to having us baptized because they would not have heathens living in their house. Oh, so much to learn. Heathens, what are they? Undesirables, lowly and inconsequential, throwaways, best known as white trash. We certainly didn't want to be heathens. A long story short, we were baptized and eventually I was confirmed. I learned about Jesus. What an activist he was, having a temper tantrum in the Jewish temple because he didn't agree with his elders on the meaning of God's words, especially the moneymakers. He referred to us as friends to avoid putting our relationship with him in a hierarchical form. I knew in addition to being a great person or half person, he was to me one of the world's greatest revolutionaries. Many of us are following his lead and set of beliefs as we persist in making the world a better place for the greatest numbers. Also, by this time, my world became white. I didn't see many dark-skinned people in school or our community. I didn't know there were rules then prohibiting African Americans from buying property and even renting in some communities. These were the communities where my dad found places or families for us to live with in exchange for a room and board fee, which we always hoped would be paid on time. If not, we had to prepare for a midnight move to another state which did not have extradition agreements. That was my early childhood. Middle school and high school wasn't really better. The good news, I proceeded to college as a special admit. Second was I had listed as personal experiences. How has your life experiences motivated your activism? How close have you been to the social political issues of our times? At age 18 months, my mother was violated and killed. This left me, my 7 sisters and brothers without an intact family and in serious financial hardship. A family of 2 adult incomes now had only one, and that one was irregular. Things were not easy. What does a male adult do with 8 kids, ages 18 months to 15 years old? We were passed out to various family members for a couple of years until my father could figure out what to do. Passing us out became a viable alternative. Things were wrong in my world. With the exception of my oldest brother, Art, we lived together for a while in Albany, New York. I started kindergarten. Brother Ray was in 1st grade. He had a friend named JJ. His sister Rita was my friend. They were our friends until we were told not to play with them because they had dark brown skin. Made no sense to a 5 and 6-year-old. These were rules. Really strange. We couldn't play with JJ or Rita, but in Brooklyn 2 years later, we could live with an interracial couple, Harold and Mona. They were the second best family I lived with, and we, Then just 5 of us plus my dad were very happy. This positive home experience came to an end when Sister Nancy announced she was getting married in California, where she was, and wanted our dad to be there. We left Mona and Harold's and were on our way to California, taking the southern route. It didn't take long to see the whites only signs clearly displayed in store windows. It is hard to forget, especially when Brother Ray and I took too long going to the bathroom because we were stunned to see separate bathrooms right close to each other. They were clear. One said black or Negroes, the other said whites only. It was also true about separate black and white drinking fountains. One said whites only, the other was for Negroes, which was then the polite way of referring to African Americans. Well, as usual, we were in trouble again. This trouble was for taking too long deciding which bathrooms and drinking fountains we should use. What should we do? This wasn't right. Our father got worried, came out of the restaurant to look for us. He was visibly upset and angrily ordered us to our overcrowded car. Off again, 6 in the car, 2 drivers and 4 of us in the back seat with at least another 4 days to go. It was a bad adventure. Arriving in California, we moved to the projects, also known as public housing, in Richmond for about 6 or 8 months, and then returned to Buffalo, never to see Harold and Mona again. I think it was these profound childhood experiences while listening to the world around me. My dad was a TV news and newspaper addict that has sustained my commitments to social and economic justice. This was my childhood, good guys and bad guys. I wasn't protected from such knowledge, and yes, it's left its impact. I was gutsy in school, and where I was someplace long enough, other students knew that I was truthful, and many seemed to appreciate me for speaking up. I was rather innocent of consequences and did not take them into consideration much. Now I try. Still gutsy, but somewhat more savvy about how to get things done. Activism for me is not something I can just give up. It is a part of me. Since I haven't really been shut up, I have kept going, and so did my career and life experiences. My first job after college lasted a year. My boss didn't approve of my dating a Jewish person, so gave me the option to stop seeing him or find another job. I found another job, this time in Los Angeles. Summer of '65 and the Watts riots. I was 22 and commuting from Santa Monica to work in East Los Angeles, which required driving by South Central LA. I was the new student activities advisor. White students were bragging about their shotguns in the back of their pickup trucks and what they planned to do if the rioters came their way. African American students were asking how to get things done on campus, as the Black Power and then Chicano activists were wanting to make their presence and issues known on campus. They were asking, what are the rules? Meanwhile, my boss was giving out assignments. One of mine was to enlarge the campus tutoring group, which at the time had about 20 students and was withering away. What might I have to offer? Extend the boundaries, move from just in-school tutoring to community service volunteering. With this new focus, we got some external funding to make the program viable. In a period of 3 years, we moved from a small group of school-based tutoring volunteers to 500 students serving weekly in over 100 community agencies, including churches, to provide tutoring, recreational learning activities, and big brother, big sister type activities to Central and East Los Angeles young people. The program, EPIC, Educational Participation in Communities, was funded over 50 years ago and is still going strong with revisions and updates. At the time, it was summarized with appreciation in the United States Congressional Record. Was that a result of personal activism? I think so. I was a happy camper. Unfortunately, the director of this program had a family catastrophe and did not return to her job. When asked to become acting director in light of this emergency, I said, sure, as long as I get the salary that went with it. Well, I was called a blackmailer by the campus president, who agreed to my most reasonable request, while at the same time telling me to find another job by June. I did, leveraging my short-lived director's salary to a significant salary increase at my new job with the University of Southern California's School of Public Administration. Enough people were influencing students. I went to USC to work with law enforcement. In exchange, I was exposed to government entities that I knew very little about. By the time I left, I had a PhD in public administration, established expertise in organizational change, and obtained many tools for changing bureaucracies, the power instrument of last resort. Well, that's how it all began: beliefs, experience, education, persistence, and commitment. Knowing things can change deep in your heart and making a commitment to making the world a better place for all human beings becomes an ethic. And as participants in our writing groups can confirm, once an activist, always an activist. It's very hard to turn off, especially when it is rewarding in a variety of ways. Thanks for your interest in where my activism energy comes from, and now you have a little sense of my path. May you too find a passion, urge, or commitment to help others. Follow it as so many of you already have done in a wide variety of ways. Thank you.
For everyone born, a place at the table. For everyone born, clean water and bread. A shelter, a space, a safe place for growing. For everyone born, a star overhead. And God will delight when we are creators of justice and joy, compassion and peace. Yes, God will delight when we are creators of justice, justice and joy. For woman and man, a place at the table, revising the roles, deciding to share. With wisdom and grace, dividing the power. For woman and man, a system that's fair. And God will delight when we are creators of justice and joy, compassion and peace. Yes, God will delight when we are creators of justice, justice and joy. For young and for old, a place at the table, a voice to be heard, a part in the song. The hands of a child and hands that are wrinkled. For young and for old, the right to belong. And God will delight when we are creators of justice and joy, compassion and peace. Yes, God will delight when we are creators of justice, justice and joy. For clear and for straight, table, for transit forgave a welcoming place. A rainbow of race and gender and color, for queer and for straight, the chalice of grace. And God will delight when we are creators of justice and joy, compassion and peace. Yes, God will delight when we are creators of justice, justice and joy. For everyone born, a place at the table, to live without fear and simply to be, to work, to speak out, to witness and worship. For everyone born, the right to be free. And God will delight when we are creators of justice and joy, compassion and peace. Yes, God will delight when we are creators of justice, justice and joy.
Thank you, Peggy, so much for your sacred story. Now, joys and concerns. Cecile Breyer sends a message. I enormously appreciate the thoughtfulness and kindness of the congregation that the congregation has shown me on my 95th birthday. Thank you very much. Peggy Newgarden expresses so much joy due to the arrival of her granddaughter, Zoe Amelia Seals, who is healthy and wants everyone to know that the birth went well. Now we have some concerns. I am concerned about the drought that is already here and the environment. Peggy is concerned about the potential consequences of a recent ruling by a federal judge who overturned California's ban on assault weapons. Healer of our every ill, light of each tomorrow, give us peace beyond our fear and hope beyond our sorrow. Now, Leslie Peralta with the scripture readings.
The first scripture is from Micah chapter 6, verse 8. The divine has shown you, O mortal, what is good. And what does the Lord require of you? To act justly and to love mercy and to walk humbly with your God. Amos chapter 5, verses 21 through 24. I despise your festivals, and I take no delight in your solemn assemblies. Even though you offer me your burnt offerings and grain offerings, I will not accept them. And the offerings of well-being of your fatted animals, I will not look upon. Take away from me the noise of your songs. I will not listen to the melody of your harps, but let justice roll down like waters and righteousness like an ever-flowing stream.
Hello, everyone at Northbrae Community Church in Berkeley, California. I'm really pleased to be able to spend some time with you, even though it's not in person. I was asked by your leadership to do a talk with song about beautiful activism and all the people who change our hearts and our minds throughout our lives. Some we can get back to them and say thank you, and others we just hope they knew that someone was watching. I was in New York City a while back. It was very hot and humid, and there was this couple walking across the street, and they were walking quite fast, but they had a little 3-year-old with them who wasn't walking fast enough, and one of the parents reached down and swatted the kid for not walking fast enough. I was so taken back by this spontaneous violence, and I thought in my head, come on, Holly, say something, do something. You know how to do intervention. Let this little child know that inappropriate behavior has just taken place. But I just kind of went still, and I thought of all the terrible things that have happened to children over the years, and I froze. But right across the street, there was this man with long dreadlocks and a bright-colored shirt, and he started dancing in the street. Don't hit the baby, don't hit the baby. I said, that's what I meant to say. It was such perfect activism. It was so beautiful. Something changes in me when I witness someone's courage. They may not know I'm watching, and I may not let them know that something changes in me that will last me for a lifetime. Fill me when I'm empty and rock me when I'm low. Something changes in me anytime there's someone singing all the songs I've never forgotten. Let our voices sing them strong. Something changes in me anytime there's someone standing for the right to be completely all the good things that we are. There's a change of heart anytime there's someone counting all the lives that won't be thrown away. There's a change of heart anytime you join the choir, be a voice up on the mountain, or see a fire in the rain. Something changes in me and my arms are held wide open. Fear and hate are set aside and only love remains. Something changes in me and I feel a deep emotion as the ones who offer help replace the ones that just complain. There's a change of heart anytime there's someone counting all the lives that won't be thrown away. There's a change of heart anytime you join the choir, be a voice up on the mountain, or see a fire in the rain. Do not forget the children, they are the singers in the storm. And when their hearts are threatened, well, a fire is bound to start. And they'll wake us up at midnight, and we'll feel an ancient pain. I do believe that love directs the flame. There is a change of heart anytime there's someone counting all the lives that won't be thrown away. There's a change of heart anytime you join the choir, be a voice up on the mountain, or see a fire, fire in the rain. of your Jesus. I'm afraid of what you do in the name of your God. And I ain't afraid of your churches. I ain't afraid of your temples. I ain't afraid of your praying. I'm afraid of what you do in the name of your God. Rise up to your higher power. Free up from fear, it will devour you. Watch out for the ego of the hour. The ones who say they know it are the ones who will impose it on you. I ain't afraid of your Yahweh. I ain't afraid of your Allah. I ain't afraid of your Jesus. I'm afraid of what you do in the name of your God. Rise up, find a higher story. Free up from the gods of war and glory. Watch out for the threats of purgatory. The spirit of the wind will make a killing off a sinner, Satan. I ain't afraid of your Yahweh. I ain't afraid of your Allah. I ain't afraid of your Jesus. I'm afraid of what you do in the name of your God. And I ain't afraid of your choices. I ain't afraid of your borders. I ain't afraid of your teachers. I'm afraid of what you do in the name of your God. And I ain't afraid of your music. I ain't afraid of your dances. I ain't afraid of your children. I'm afraid of what you do in the name of your God. Jan Martinelli. Beautiful. People used to ask me a lot, well, what are you? Are you a socialist or a communist or a Democrat or an activist or an entertainer or a lesbian or bisexual or heterosexual? And I got so yes and no answers just didn't feel like they carried the depth of the question. I am open and I am willing, for to be hopeless would seem so strange. It dishonors those who go before us, so lift me up to the light of change. There is a hurting in my family, and there is sorrow in my town. There is a panic all across the nation, and there is wailing the whole world round. But I am open and I am willing, for to be hopeless would seem so strange. It dishonors those who go before us, so lift me up to the light of change. May the children, may they see more clearly, and may the elders be more wise. May the winds of change caress us, even though they burn our eyes. I am open and I am willing, for to be hopeless would seem so strange. It dishonors others, those who go before us. So lift me up to the light of change. Give me a mighty oak to hold my confusion, and give me a desert to hold my fear. Give me a sunset to hold my wonder, and give me an ocean to hold my tears. I am open and I am willing, for to be hopeless would seem so strange. It dishonors those who go before us. So lift me up to the light of change. I was doing a concert in Albany, New York, and it was right around the time of the Occupy movement. And I'd been in New York City, and I'd gone down to the park where the Occupy movement was happening, and it was very exciting. It was very youth-driven, and it was a huge voice that was trying to talk about how Wall Street had a life of its own that really wasn't part of the democratic process. And it was great to meet all these young people down there who were really asking some tough questions. So later we were up in Albany, and there was an Occupy happening in a park nearby the theater. And apparently that was going on all over the country, where Occupy protests were starting to happen. So someone told me about it before the show, and during the first set I mentioned how moved I was by the courage of these protests. At intermission, the producer came back and said, we just heard that the higher-ups, whoever that was there, had just ordered the police in Albany to shut down the Occupy protest in this park. So during the second set, I mentioned to people that this was going to happen and that the police were going to shut it down at 11 o'clock. And that after the concert, if anybody had the energy, they might want to stroll over there and just bear witness. And I was sick, so I had to go back to the hotel. But the next morning, someone called me and said, you'll never believe what happened. The police decided on their own not to take those orders and not to shut it down at 11 o'clock at night. They thought it was too late, it was too dark, that they would start a riot, people would get hurt. But the deciding factor was that around a little bit before 11, all these old people showed up at the park. Yes, we can cause a lot of trouble if you send our children to fight and to die, poison the food, or try to delude us with ads that blatantly lie. Our children have minds meant for learning. If there is a God, then God lives in them. Books are not meant for burning. What is it you feel that you must condemn? But no matter how hard you push us around, there's something around the bend. We're still here, choosing love over fear. When the lines are drawn, we're still here. We're still here, making it perfectly clear. When the lines are drawn, we're still here. No matter how much you love to hate us, and fear is driving a stake in your heart, as long as the stars shine bright in the sky, love will keep doing its part. Yes, you may try to stop the music, but music has wings and flies over the walls. It's there when we dance and when we romance. It it's there when the dictator falls. So no matter how much you push us around, there's one thing you need to recall. We're still here, choosing love over fear. When the lines are drawn, we're still here. We're still here, making it perfectly clear. When the lines are drawn, we're still here. Now sometimes we get sad and discouraged as old friends die and dreams slip from our grasp. But as much as we treasure our memories, we don't live in the past. Years can leave gray hair and wrinkles, and wisdom as well, I'll hasten to say. So with walkers and canes, we are standing between young people and harm's way. And your job just got harder today. Are you ready for your part? We're still here, choosing love over fear. When the lines are drawn, we're still here. We're still here, making it perfectly clear. When the lines are drawn, we're still here. When the lines are drawn, we're still here.
And now, please join us in hymn 121 in the Silver Book, We'll Build a Land. Words are in your bulletin.
With as much gusto as Holly near. We'll build a land where we bind up the broken. We'll build a land where the captives go free, where the oil of gladness dissolves all mourning. Oh, we'll build a promised land that can be. Come build a land where sisters and brothers, anointed by God, make then create peace, where justice shall roll down like the waters, and peace like an ever-flowing stream. We'll build a land where we bring the good tidings to all the afflicted and all those who mourn, and we'll give them garlands instead of ashes. Oh, we'll build a land where peace is born. Come build a land where sisters and brothers, anointed by God, may then create peace, where justice shall roll down like waters, and peace like an ever-flowing stream. We'll build a land building up ancient cities, raising up devastation from old, restoring ruins of generations. Oh, we'll build a land of people so bold. Come build a land where sisters and brothers, anointed by God, may then create peace, where justice shall roll down like waters, and peace like an ever-flowing stream. Come build a land where mantles of praises resound from spirits once faint and once weak, where the oaks of righteousness stand, her people. Oh, come build a land, my people we seek. Come build a land where sisters and brothers, anointed by God, may then create peace, where justice shall roll down like waters, and peace like an ever-flowing stream.
In the words of John Wesley, do all the good you can, by all the means you can, in all the ways you can, in all the places you can, at all the times you can, to all the people you can, as long as ever you can. To which I would add, God rejoices when we are creators of justice, joy, peace, grounded in love. Blessed be.
Say my peace I leave